for VLFR Alliance, but yeah, I think we should be able to try to get to talk to one of the people that were playing the matches to talk to them right now. What do you think, Self?
Yes, why don't we bring in Nightmare, and we'll be able to speak to him. The last fight which we was watching, obviously, was FBI against FWH. Unfortunately, FWH is now no longer in Reservoir League. They're gonna have one more fight next week, but even if they win the last fight, they will not make it through because it's the top two alliances which make it through.
It's still worth fighting for the rewards, but of course the morale is going to be a little bit lower.
Yeah, of course. So now we actually have Nightmare inside the call. How is it going, Nightmare?
Hello, guys. Yeah, not too bad. How are you guys getting on?
Oh, we're very well, thank you. Very well, thank you.
It was a fun experience to watch all the 4 matches at the same time. Honestly,
I bet it was, watching at how everybody plays and the different gen heroes and all the different states.
Mm-hmm. And some of the matches were really close. We were actually getting up to a point where one of the matches were decided in literally the last 3 minutes, 2 minutes.
Oh, what state was that?
That was Serbian Girls match. It was really, really close.
Oh, right, okay.
At the beginning, they were losing by about 30-something thousand water. They brought it back all the way to 3,000 water difference. But once the water tanks opened up, that's where their struggle really began. Because they weren't pushing the water tanks at the beginning as much as they needed to. If they pushed the water tanks as much as the enemy team pushed, I think they would have taken it.
Right, okay.
If we want to start with the questions that we want to make to our dear Pika here.
Yeah, hi everyone.
Welcome to the stream. First of all, great match. You guys absolutely crushed it. Second, could you tell our audience a little about yourself and your actual alliance?
Well, as some of you might already know, I'm Pika the streamer, and I'm here in state 702 with the alliance called VXM, which was founded by Werewolf, and it was basically a group of friends from previous states that all decided to come here to state 702, where everybody followed Werewolf, and yeah, we took season 4 champion in last RL, and it's been going very well ever since.
Les?
Is that all right?
Yeah, that was perfectly fine. Les will ask you the second question.
Sure. Can you tell us our role today? And how do you feel about how you did perform today with your role during Reservoir League?
Yeah, so we go ahead and get ourselves set up into groups, and it's our job as a rally leader to stay in those positions and hold those key structures. That's why it was a little bit dull, I would say. We was holding our water treatment center and processing building quite well. We did lose it a couple of times, but when we got to the halfway point, the enemy team decided to change their tactics, which is very important when you play in RL. You need to adapt to the situation, and they started jumping around and going for other buildings to try and get the water and start picking it up, but just didn't work in their favor, unfortunately.
Can I ask? Well, sorry, just an extra question. So, do you guys have people who are allocated for the water tanks?
We do, yes.
Okay. I noticed that you guys were performing really well, but a lot of the times when you opened the map, the water tanks were very empty. It felt.
I think it was more the fact that we was adapting to the gameplay of the enemy team. because they weren't sticking to like their game plan. So they had to change their tactics and just jump around. So we kind of had our guys jumping around who would, normally be
Yes,
going for
I
objective and following those and supporting. I think that was the main uh, game change plan that happened in today's game.
so when they were porting, they were losing the water tanks.
They were porting. They were going to help and reinforce quickly where it was needed, and they were jumping around because they couldn't take the objectives they were actually wanting and going for weaker objectives. And when they took those, obviously the water came out, so obviously people were jumping to collect the water, and then they get recalled and they can't stay where they have to stay.
What do you think about today's result, and considering everything, including the fact that they adapted with the strategy in the middle of the match, and how do you respond to it? How do you see the match?
Um, well, the important thing is just this is a game, and the important thing is you got to stay calm, you got to stay focused. Um, you're on Discord. You're with a group of you're with everyone in the alliance. It's very important to keep communication at an understandable level without everyone talking over each other, and you just got to do the best that you can, really.
How far in advance do you make your strategies or your plans?
Right. Well, that's a bit of a tricky one because, like we were just saying, like with the opponent we were just playing against, they obviously had a plan and it fell apart in like 20 minutes of the game. So it's very important that you have a good team that you can communicate and adjust and adapt to the situation. So we go in with a plan, with our formations, with our where we need to go. We had our key positions, and based on how like the first 20 minutes of the gameplay is going, you either stick to it or you change it and have to adapt. And like for me, up in the top right corner there, we was doing a good job, and we didn't have to change our tactics. I could just stay there and keep hold of the building, and the enemy team had to change their tactics, and that's where our our collectors change their tactics as well and kind of like adapt to the situation and follow them in a way.
Okay, so to continue on from that, do you think a good strategy can actually beat a more powerful team?
Ooh, that's a bit of a tricky question in RR because given the right conditions to make it happen, then yes, a better strategy with a team that can back it up, can win a stronger team. But you have so many different factors involved in the match that makes this a bit of a difficult question to properly answer. Um, to be honest, but people see the game playing so many different ways and so many different outcomes. It's a bit tricky to say yes and no because everyone will have their own personal input and vision on how the battle is going to go. So it is difficult to kind of answer that.
And speaking of vision and stuff like that, what do you think was the biggest point of the biggest play that you had in the match? The moment that you were like, oh wow, this seems like it wasn't expected, or that this really may make or break the match.
Um, in the game that we've just had, um, I wouldn't really say there was like like a really big play in it because we weren't, having to resort to, you know, setting lots of different rally leads on, just to try and like get somebody out. I think that would be a more suitable question for when we get to the finals, and it really comes down, to neck and neck competition.
Okay. And do you think that the VXM is going to go to the finals?
Yeah, well, we aim to reach it again like last year, since we won season 4. So all we can do is play each match as they come and see how far we can get up the ladder this year. That's pretty much the best we can do, especially since it's on a Friday. But
Yep.
we're dealing with that.
One question that I'd like to ask personally, but I think it's interesting to see the answer. But do you have any opponents that you think that are going to be dangerous until you're halfway to the finals? And which one do you think are the most dangerous ones?
There is, but we're going to keep that a secret for the next stream.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer.
I've already got 1 or 2 which is inside your division, which I think will be some tough fights for you.
Yeah.
All right.
But I do think that one of the answers that Stealth is probably going to give, which is the same answer that I did, I know for a fact that you beat them before. So.
Oh, have they?
We beat them in season 4, did we?
And you beat them in Reservoir Raid as well, not long ago.
So that's
so
probably
you know
the reason
exactly
why
which
you're
one I'm
thinking
talking about.
Right.
Well,
all right, excellent.
we shall let you get back to your stream, of course. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your time. Well played today, and best of luck in the future Reservoir League fights.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys.